Alright everyone, this is Charlie 6 Zulu back again with another battle replay on Rome 2. Yeah, that's right. Bring us the Myth and Legends mod. It's been popular on the Discord lately at the Hungry Wolves, which has been really nice. Of course, that does mean we had to cover it on a few fight nights. What always happens is Title Tier is playing on Athens on attack, sitting in his usual spot at the edge. It means he's getting sallied out on. It happens every time. I've never seen one where he hasn't. But to salute his brave sacrifice, you could say, we'll start with his army. Nova Carthago, brought to us by, of course, the inevitable titled Sum. He was a real hero in this battle. He genuinely was. We got ourselves, with this army, 4 Numidian noble infantry, including that general right there. We got 2 heavy Numidian skirmishers, 2 mercenary Balearic slingers, 3 desert legionnaires, 3 mercenary Scutari, 3 mercenary light infantry, lots of 3s, and 1 Numidian spearman. The crux of his army right there, of course. Next up, we have the Viking Confederation, brought to us by Enorus himself. He's got himself a Hearthguard general, 4 Viking archers, 2 shield maidens, 1 spear warrior, 5 thrall swords, 2 Viking chosen axeband, and 2 young wolves. Next up we have, of course, Legio 22 XXII, bringing us Armenia. Now, Legio here has an Azat Knight General, 4 Eastern Archers, 4 Axemen. We also have 3 Hillmen, 7 Kartli Axemen, and 1 Persian Hoplite. The final army, of course, is, honestly, I have not lost when I've covered these builds in this game. It is the best Rome build you'll ever see, modified for the modded version. We have a Praetorian Guard General, because that's fair. 1 fixed ballista, which is technically a Roman giant ballista, but I've always called it a fixed ballista for years, so it's always going to be a fixed ballista. 2 auxiliary African elephants, 2 Socii Equitae Extraordinari, 1 gladiator spearman. We also have 4 gladiators, 2 principes, and 3 Socii Histade. Look at those gladiator spears. Get the little tridents. They're definitely going to win. But let us get this party started. Yeah. Honestly, I see a lot of people attack Athens on the other side here. Favorite side to attack is over here. Would have liked another ballista, but you don't always get what you want. But let's get started. Enough dilly-dallying. Let's see if Titled gets sallied out on again. Here's a spoiler. The answer, of course, is yes. Alrighty, getting started here.
These big dogs are beneath us, beneath our contempt. Let us punish their insolence with terrible retribution. Answer their arrogance with spears thrust and arrows flight. Send these craven swine fleeing. Make ready. Cheer!
Oh, just stopping this real fast. I did forget to give you the defenders. Defenders real fast are Arverni, brought to us by Mr. Joe Onnet. You can see one of his boys right there, the Scutari. Amazons brought to us by J-Boy, which we don't see any yet. The Chinese, the Qin Dynasty, brought to us by N-Sniper 101. And the Sarmatians brought to us by Riza 46911. I did want to say, sorry, I was really excited. This is my second time starting this battle up. The speech was different on the Armenian general, which is interesting. We have the invisible rice farmers, so you just have to get close enough to them to see them. And that was indeed cavalry over there. Yep. Some Qin noble horse archers. Some steppe noble lancers. Of course, an armored cavalry general. I'm a little saddened we don't have the Shadows of the Steppe, my favorite cavalry unit with Sarmatia. He should have brought some, even on the other side, just to harass them. Force them to divide themselves, or even as a first strike. Got here some more armored cavalry. But Title responding fast. He already knows what's up. These 3 boys he had in the front, the guerrilla boys. are getting into position. Numidian spearmen getting ready to push that tortoise up while the rest of his men get into position. Getting back up from the Great Rome's African elephants. And the Socii Equitae Extraordinari joining them. Since there's no artillery here, it's nice to free up the ballista immediately. Over here, we had a nice charge against those Numidian light infantry. Let's see this carnage as they retreat out of there. Lots of dead, both horses and infantry. What are we looking at? 25 left on that Steppe Noble Lancer, not worth it. But the other two, one has 80 men, the other has 62. So one took the casualties for the rest. 100 left on that Numidian light infantry, 89 and 57 there. This corner line has just been busted. You can see where all those horses died too. Yeah, the danger is they did have javelins. African elephants are trying to stay out of the range of the noble archers, keeping them safe. Well, those beautiful Balearics move up. Very good contain on a cavalry sally out right here that Nova Carthago has. Nice, Balearics coming in. Not a kill yet. They're running away at firing into the Scutari, doing some nice damage. Drop that one about to half. You can see them trying to get close enough to, trying to target the Balearics. Cavalry's made its way over. Just cat and mouse with the elephants to stay out of range, while trying to maintain that formation, keeping them in position. Over here, the Vikings are already in. Thrall swords in 2 locations. Armenia just broke down the gate, and Armenia is breaking down over here as well as here. Basically, a heavy push in because there's just a lot of forces concentrated here. Now, no Amazonians out here yet, and I don't know if there are going to be any, but there's... And no Arverni, but they could be hiding with those guerrilla deploys. But this is a lot of money for Sarmatia. Those are Steppe Noble Lancers. He's brought 3 of them. And that is some heavy-duty cavalry and some decent infantry. So I'm not expecting too much from these rice farmers. They are one of the scariest shock units in the game. 200 men. Sarmatian heavy archer over there. Thrall swords starting to get cut down to the Amazonian hoplites and legionnaires. Hoplites are pretty good there. Numidian spearmen trying to break down the walls. Amazonian archers, Fun part is some of the units disappear. So just watch the flags, not the units. Yep. Infantry for Nova Carthago is moving up to a smaller position, a tighter position for him. Kind of like right over here is what... Right over here would be a perfect spot to aim for as a straight line, if I can do that. Yeah, you can see now he requires far less men to hold there. And as he continues to push them back, they get less room. And it's going to force them back inside. Elephants are no longer needed, so they're not moving up anymore. But Armenia has begun his push in, and he's taking a heavy fire with his axemen and his hailmen. One other change that the mod added was allowing you to control the Iberian swordsmen, who still have 5 javelins. Yeah. Young Wolf's coming on in. Well, look at that. He's able to hold them back with just 3 units. There you go. That's how you do it. He's learned how to handle those. But over here, it is... Though not the best and the best, he's got breakthroughs with his axemen getting into more of the Iberians. His axemen are beating the Scutari in the fights, in most of the fights. It's just that some places he's just getting shot up at. Breach coming through here from McCartly getting into these rice farmers. That is perfect. That is what is needed. These rice farmers, too distracted by the sally out in the corner, was not able to charge out while he's sallying out here with his armored swordsman. And the first unit of the Socii Equites get in, as there's a gap with all the archers. So they're starting to fire at these Cartleys, trying to silence them. These guys get on in. They hug the corner. Now, they do get stuck up for a second. It's really sad. Over here, though, Averni is having a really tough time. Principes are starting to make their way in to try to break them out. However, the Sociais are here to protect them, as Iberian Cav has made their way in to protect some of those archers. Equite Extraordinari have gotten in. Hunt down a good chunk of these Sarmatian heavies, but they're tough units with strong spears. But as that one's getting through the back, the second one's making its way in, as those rice farmers are breaking through. Those Skutari are dropping, and more Kartlis coming on in.
Riders at the double!
He continues to go hunting. Iberians making their way into the Gladiator Spearmen. Gladiator Spearmen are very niche infantry. They're very good against light cavalry, very terrible against heavy cavalry. But we're getting 2 charges in. Right into the back of the Skutari. Ooh, it is rumbling a lot. Crushing that unit. But also another one into these Gladiator Spearmen, which initially they're losing a lot. However, they're starting to cut down a lot as well. Principes are broken through, and of course we have now Killing Spree on, which is going to start tearing into them, bringing their weapon damage up to 53. Javelin's getting in and finishing the threat off. Principes continuing to move up. 1 Socii Equite right over here. Deep into the enemy formation with 164 kills. I believe the other one's already been eliminated. Worked as a Suda's bold distraction. The 2 elephants are still helping out the Iberians, or the Novo Carthago, which they're pushing in. Over here, there's a very light defense. There are a few armored swordsmen, but that's not much. Some rice farmers. The majority of the defense is being brought to us here. Danax is breaking through, getting around. Ooh, rear charge with Danaxes. Those poor hoplites have just... Oh, that is not good. I mean, they've killed a lot of young wolves and thralls, but they're not surviving that. More thralled swords pushing up, while the cavalry, who has made their way back in, kind of see it every once in a while, starting to break through. And as you can kind of see, this formation is breaking itself apart. There are no battle lines anymore. It is just chaos. Defender cavalry have broken through the lines, getting into all the archers, cutting into what they can. However, the front lines of the infantry are also breaking at the same time. So, really is a toss-up here. But over here, the Danaxes are still cutting down those Amazonian hoplites. More men moving in. This fight's going to go a drop for them, and they're going to have a way through for the Vikings. Look at the cavalry popping back out, knowing that thinking they have an opportunity. And he's just biding his time. The rest of the Romans are starting to come on in. The Socii Hastati, who, of course, went in after the Principes, like the like the cowards they are going in next to help start cleaning up as the lines kind of fuddle down. Axemen moving up. And artillery fire continuing to pop on in, hitting some more boys. 160 kills with a ballista. That's why I love attacking here, because you can mass up so much infantry, you can do real damage. But since the armored swordsmen are coming in here, there's even less over in that corner now. Now, Thrall swords versus armored swordsmen. You can see the Thrall swords are already pulling back as the Danaxes use that opportunity to charge on in. Let's see that. Well, 10 lost. Oh my gosh, that number is starting to drop like nobody's business. Over here, infantry is not looking very strong. You can kind of see the rear charges coming on in. Kartli's getting hit in the back. Getting shattered with not many kills. Now, I won't say it's because I didn't provide enough infantry support, but that indeed may be part of it. They're tearing out that armored cavalry. What do we have over here? 1 armored sword, 2 armored sword, 3 armored swords. Okay. But as the gladiator spearmen start to make their way in, as the Principes start breaking out, 177 there, 128. The elephants start to make their push in.
Advance at speed.
Now the real chaos begins.
Orders understood. Advance. Forward.
Because to be honest, they're already a berserk.
For glory.
At this point, we have so little infantry in there outside of my expendable boys. Well, to be honest, to me, everyone's expendable at this point.
Charge.
With that here, I'm just going to let the elephants run free. Let them all go berserk. Let them hit. As you can see, they're continuing to hit in. Over here, we have gladiators and gladiator spearmen winning.
At speed.
Same with those Persian hoplites, which, by the way, have 51 kills. Gladiators rotating around the flank. Elephants killing
Victory for
a
Rome.
ton of their own men. Just ran over my Praetorian. I'm going to let you know they run over my Praetorian like 4 times. 3 or 4 times.
Forward.
Yep, there's the second run over. But over here we have shield maidens. Oh, right. Shield maidens. Okay, sword and shield with a bow on the back. Interesting. But, titled here, as the Chinese have pushed away, has managed to make a breachhead in. And he's facing minimal resistance. And remember, he managed to survive that salliot with most of his army intact.
Riders, advance.
So as we pushed in and forced pressure onto them, these elephants are free. These elephants are free and they're charging. Oh my gosh, it's the moment of truth. And immediately out of control again. But out of control in the enemy now. Not just in their allies. They're killing a lot of enemies as well. How's my general looking? Down to 122 men. He's taken another charge from the elephants and he's about to get another one. Here we go. Another elephant charge to make 4.
Double time. Forward.
Elephants back in control for a second. They're not going to stay in control for very long.
Advance at speed.
But hey.
For glory.
Over here, the Amazonian legionnaires, as well as the armored swords, are holding the Vikings in place, forcing him to rotate this way. Gladiators here still fighting. Fighting armored cavalry. Yeah, elephants here at 135. They've gotten just so many kills off of that. That's another run through on the Praetorian, but I don't count that one. Is my general dead yet? Yeah, my general dies to his own elephants, just to let you know. But over here, actually really nice plays. Separating out these legionnaires, sacrificing them up. Rice farmers trying to break through the desert legionnaires, trying to break through this Qatari, and they're not. But now with that broken, they're going to be able to get around. And there's really no one else. No one else is farming in to reinforce. Chinese are mostly concentrated over here. These guys came back. Look at that.
As you say.
Taurian at 53. That one elephant himself is still trying to kill his own men. This one's to 82, 1 man left. They just killed him, but the other one, which is leaving, is at 142, that's right. Oh, by the way, I still haven't used the Socii Astartes. I sent all the gladiators in. My lowest tier unit is still the one that hasn't been touched. Yep, here we go. Nice little sandwich. This is what I mean when I said Titled was pro in this game. He handled the sally out really well. Bided his time, didn't charge in immediately, even though he knew he was in a precarious position. Wait until he had his moment to break through. Over here, the Vikings are doing very well. I mean, us Romans and the Armenians are dead. We took the brunt of the damage. You can kind of see it in this corner. The bloodbath that took part. At this point, my general is definitely dead. He's still winning. But Armored Cavalry General coming on in, and as this one breaks, you can see a lot of the Amazonians pushing back. As he's scouting ahead with one of his Desert Legionnaires as the last of the threats are being handled. Now, Joe's had his artillery here. He's been able to start opening fire with it. I don't know if he fully finished firing. Possibly. The mercenary Scutari is about to help hold that. Arverni trying to get as many shots off with his Balearics and Iberians as he can, as he's trying to just bait time with his Noble Cab General as well. There we go. Scutari's Spearmen still holding out, which is incredible. But the Socii Stati doing what they can to go help against this fight. Getting right on in. Throwing javelins. Killing with the best of them.
Advance!
The Socii Stati helped hold that line. Last one is... I don't know where the last one is. Where's my last Socii? Is it in the fight? It doesn't look like it. Where's my third boy? Oh, right. My third Socii Hastati has rotated himself around this way and gotten into the ranged. Carving up the enemy. That Noble Cav, though. Holy shit, 262. You can see some of the Vikings moving up, while the Nova Carthago pushing up in an orderly fashion onto the back end. You can see most of the forces going this way with a small contingent rotating this way, opening up as many avenues as he can, while the Amazonians, which have a good number of men left, really wasn't over in this fight too much, mostly in that corner fight, and even then not too much. Still having a lot of men left pulling back. That's down. 211 goes. There we go. And with that, it is broken through. Rome left with 3 Socii Stades, 3 really beat up gladiators, and 1 really beat up Praetorian. Armenia bringing us 1 archer. Decent amount of troops for the Viking Confederation. Some Viking archers. Full health Shield Maiden. Half strength Chosen. Half strength Young Axe. Some really beat up Shield Maiden, some Vikings. Hearthguard General still very healthy, and the other 2 Viking archers, and a pretty healthy Spear Warrior. And of course, Titled walking up with most of his army. Desert Legionnaire fighting off against Scutari. Amazonian Vanguard, which is a nice unit. I don't like them as a general, but they are trying to handle where they can. Oh, the Handmaidens of Athena with full ammo. This is a super expensive Amazonian archer who basically become foxes when they run out of ammo. They're a very, very scary unit. But over here you can see that initially I was planning on rotating all the way this way to add an extra avenue. But when we see what Amazon has lined up here in this choke point leading into the capital, 2 Amazonian archers, we got Amazonian heavy hoplites, which are going to be really tough to break through. Got to do what we can. Desert Legionnaires really cutting into them. Nice plays by Nova, exploiting this Scutari entering like that. A nice play from the Scutari to give him an avenue for another strike. Especially against the Daughters of Hades, another elite unit from Amazon. So Amazon's left a lot of their elite units into the back. Daughters of Hades, Handmaidens, which are now visible. And those heavy hoplites. Those heavy hoplites are monsters, I'll let you know that. That poor archer boy's out of ammo. And he's taking all those shots for us. Yep. Over here, the Skitarii is finally dropping, getting around the Daughters of Hades. The issue, of course, with these Desert Legionnaires getting around is they're going to get shot in the back if they try to turn around. To be honest, they're not going to beat the Daughters, Handmaidens of Athena. More weaker Desert Legionnaires getting around. The one saving grace of this is that you can see the gaps in the infantry line. He just doesn't have enough infantry. I think he used a decent amount in the front fights over there. Like, I think he had like 5 or 6 units. It's just that he wasn't really in the corner. And no one else was. Just downside to Saliad armies, and they didn't do very well. Funnily enough, he's running his handmaidens away when he could just... If he switches to melee, he could probably beat them. But the Vanguard moving in with their Falxes to take on these Numidian skirmishers that have 95 men. These ones have javelins still. First line goes down. They do get to charge in. Ooh, cutting deep into the line. Alright, those Vanguard had 0 kills. They're already at 30. Daughters of Hades apparently have square formation, by the way. That's always fun. Over here, we have the Numidian nobles fighting off against the Daughters of Hades. It's going to be a slog to break through, but you can kind of see it. Yeah, they're getting hit. He's trying to take as much, knowing that they aren't going to survive very much fire, trying to get as much as I can, as well as also form them up into columns. I mean, sadly, their shields aren't big enough. Charging on in. Gonna strike into the archers. Cutting himself into the archer line, which is really nice. These archers getting in, while the Socii Estati is getting through the middle. Still maintaining that formation. Yeah, those Socii Estati are not winning. Over here, the Handmaidens are coming back after defeating the Desert Legionnaires. But the Vanguards are still pushing in. They're at 102 kills, but they've lost pretty much most of their men. Down to 38 men. They've been cutting through these Numidian skirmishers. Bleric's getting right into the side of those Daughters of Hades, covering some real good damage. Over here, the Socii Estati, with most of their men through, are now just starting to wrap around the back of the 2 units, trying to do as much morale damage as possible, because the Socii Estati are not winning that fight. Viking Chosen Axeman also helping secure the way for the Viking Chosen Axeman, which are getting through now. They're about to charge on in. Right in the back of these heavy hoplites. Forcing them to face both ways. Forcing them into square formation too, which is really good for us because it gives us more room to maneuver. But Title's broken through again. Let's see these Handmaidens. And as I said, look at that. The Handmaidens are now winning. However, the downside is you can see all this infantry breaking through. More Socii Estati. More gladiators breaking through. Since they're in square formation, it's going to be hard to break through them. Their numbers are dwindling, especially as more and more of the Amazonians start to lose. And Titled is making his way in continuously. Those mercenary Skitarii drop. Javelins in, nice. Nice javelin from the general. And now they can surround him. Daughters of Hades in a nice position to get surrounded, now that he was forced to commit. Those Handmaidens are down as well. But despite all of titled skill, the first one here, of course, is Rome, which means the city belongs to Rome officially. That's how it works. First come, first served. And it means that Rome gets declared the victor, obviously. That's how that works. But, Daughters of Hades, torn apart here. This is pretty much over. Brutal fight in the front, last stance at the back. But honestly, Titled pushing in like he did, even though he didn't face too much resistance. He held off a sally out completely well, like perfectly well, that probably saved the attack. Because if they were able to get into the back lines, it would have been tough for us, especially with four Archer Cav, as well as a bunch of pretty heavy Shock Cav and Melee Cav. Would have been very tough to deal with. He held that up, managed to get into the city, smash through, and though we did face fighting here, the biggest part of that, him pushing in, of course, was forcing everyone back as they had to go defend the town center. Some of the Associated Stati did not do bad. As you can see, the city belongs to me, Rome. Victory for Roma. That heavy hoplites to Holden. Oh yeah, I still have a Praetorian. The remaining part of the Praetorian Guard is alive, so they're about to choose the new emperor from the surviving Socii or gladiators. Yep, Balearic fire right into the back of those heavy hoplites. But they got good kills there at 178. Square formation is the only thing keeping them alive right now. Praetorians, of course, fighting right now. They're up to 133 melee attack with that use the whip. And with that, the last unit breaks, and it is another Roman victory. So Rome remains undefeated. Of course, let us get into the army comps. We have Legio here playing Armenia. He went in first, so he took a lot of casualties for lowest amount of kills. That's what happens when you're first into the breach. But he pushed hard to help force the situation with the sally out as well. His As at Night General got 161 kills. None of his axemen did crazy well. Hey, one of the hillmen got 0 kills. There we go. That's how you do it. But the Cartleys 173 and 114. Those Persian hoplites got 63 kills. That's crazy. But yeah, one in first. It happens. He got shot at all angles from the Iberians by good old Averni. Viking Confederation, of course, brought to us by Inoris. Hearthguard General 156 and still relatively healthy. Viking Archers 108, 129, and 126. Those Dane Axes got 167 kills, which is great. Shield Maidens 191, 158. Of course, we got the Spear Warriors at 154, still healthy as well. One of these Thrall Swords got 122 kills, which is crazy. Viking Chosen Axeband 144 kills. Young Wolves, one of them got 120. Very, very tough units. Next up, the one army with the most kills in the game, the best army, Roma. The Praetorian got 218 kills despite being run over multiple times by elephants. 161 kills for the Roman giant ballista. Elephant-wise, one of them got 142 kills. 2 chevrons off of it, and 1 chevron off the 82 one is nice. So, I don't know if you know this, but the way chevrons tend to work are the value of the unit killed, obviously, compared to yours, the more chevrons you get with the less amount of kills. But we got here Socii Equitae Extraordinari 203 on that one. That other one died early. But Gladiator-wise, we have 214, 113. Principes 129, 179. And these Socii Hastati. I'm going to give it to the 99 one. You know what? They're 330 gold. 990, 156, and 119. They're like the hillmen of the Roman army, and they did amazing. Titled Sum here, bringing up the last army. Last but certainly not least. and with the healthiest army. He's got himself Nova Carthago. Uh, all 4 of his Numidian infantry, look how healthy they are. That is no Numidian noble infantry, all of them still green. But heavy Numidian skirmishers, 131 right there. Balearics, 176, 143. Desert Legionnaires, 150, 166. 135 for that mercenary Scutari. Numidian light infantry got slaughtered. Numidian spearmen did their job. They broke a wall and died. But we'll get to the defenders now. Joe Onnit bring us Arverni, with the only army on the defenders over 2,000 men. That's crazy. But Arvaki. I think I said Arverni. God damn it. Arvaki noble cavalry 279, 71 kills with an Iberian. Let's go. 130 with that Iberian slinger. Iberian swordsman 186, 141. It's really good for them. Noble fighters here 219. Then the Scutari 220, 106, 155, 119. Scutari spearmen. Ooh. Amazonians brought 1,900 men. Their vanguard general got 121 kills. This is J-Boy, of course. And Amazonian archers 145, 187, and those handmaidens with 127. Heavy hoplites 228, 183. Amazonian hoplites 162, 147. That was on that corner initially. I know there's a legionnaire. So there's only 3 units that were over there. Very small army. Doesn't even feel like 1,900 men, to be honest. Amazonian legionnaires 111. We have that Amazonian light Thureo spear 128. The daughters, of course, were 134 and 114. I think that Thureo spear was also early up. The Chian army brought to us by End Sniper 101. Very cavalry heavy, as you can see. But his armored cavalry getting him 161 kills off the general himself. The noble horse archers 145, 136, so close on that one. And the armored swordsman 180, 117, 141, 148. Look at that, rice farmer getting 15 kills. Let's go. But Riza bring up the final army, the Sarmatians. Actually the smallest army as well, 1,200 men. 3 steppe noble lancers, 1 shadow of the steppe. So we did have a shadow of the steppe, it just wasn't outside. Didn't see it at all, but that shadow of the steppe got 167 kills. One of his Sarmatian noble or steppe noble lancers got 172. Archer-wise, one of his archers got up to 100 kills, and his 3 daughters of the steppes 204, 312, and 119. Now, with that, the battle is over. So, really nothing the defenders did wrong, to be perfectly honest. The attackers just handled the sally out extraordinarily well. It's a gamble. They lost the gamble. What they should have done, in my opinion, if I had to nitpick something, if they were committing to the sally out, they should have committed to the strike at the side with the Numidians. If they brought more cavalry into that side, they would have been able to push more effectively. Now, the downside to that is they can get trapped really easily. That's why they didn't do it. That's why I said it was a nitpick, not a good decision. It was just a possibility to get around and wrap around. But it also was a bigger gamble than what they committed to with them initially. But with that, we are done. If you know a moment where the defenders really lost, you let me know. If not, you all have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye for now.